One's life begins to change when their desires transform into concrete actions. You're listening to the Desire to Be podcast, where your desires for your life and relationships become your mastery. I'm your host, Devora Goldberg, and thank you for joining. I read a story years ago in one of Dr. Rabbi Abraham Twersky's books. Dr. Twersky was a well-known psychiatrist, an author, and a speaker. One day on one of his rounds in the psych hospital, he noticed that one of his patients was walking around with his hands above his head, seemingly holding on to something very heavy. He was groaning and yelling, "It's too heavy! Help me! Help me!" Now, Dr. Twersky noted that some of the nurses in the ward were completely ignoring this patient, knowing that it was really all in his mind, and he was just plain crazy. So Dr. Twersky describes that he approached the gentleman and he asked, "Do you want me to remove this load from your hands?" "Yes," he replied. And the doctor did just that. He figuratively removed the load from his patient as the latter breathed an audible sigh of relief. Dr. Twersky went on to explain that we as human beings all have weights within us. We have boulders, we have heaviness within our bodies. We're just not walking around like crazy people with our hands over our heads. But we are walking around with chest pains, with migraines, with gut issues, brain fog, heart palpitations, and shooting pains in different areas, which he explains is due to the stresses that we experience, which we store within. The stored stresses are essentially things going on in our lives that we consistently hold on to. So much that happens during each day is really beyond our control. They're beyond our control because they involve either an outcome that hasn't happened yet, or an outcome that happened already that we may regret, or it involves another person who has wronged us in any way. So let's break this down. The outcome that hasn't happened yet may look like fear of the unknown. The outcome that happened already may look like regret or hurt. The person who has done the injustice to us, or as we perceive it as the injustice, it may look like anger or resentment within. We know as humans that we really can't control everything. All those things that I just mentioned, we can't control it. And yet we do the control thing very, very well. We hold on to the thoughts of injustice, the frustration, the fear, as if our minds will sort it all out. Yet as we think about the fear of the unknown, as we think of the regret or the anger, those issues, as we know, don't actually go away. They don't lessen. In fact, they get larger. They become more potent, which actually causes us to give them even more attention and attaches a strong emotion to them as well. So now we have the thought and we have the emotion and we're feeling it inside. Because the emotion makes it real, because it's felt in the body. So when my coaching clients have stresses that they're holding on to, I ask them, where in the body do you feel it? The stress always has a home. Always has a home, my friends, either in the skull or in the heart, in the chest, maybe shooting pains in the legs, stiff hands, a feeling in the gut that it's not working well, stomach issues. And one of my clients even said she felt it in her womb. And these are just some of the places where stress is kept. And by the way, this stress storing thing is really no fault of your own. It's no fault of our own as a society, because it's really a learned trade. You may have responded this way your whole life, or maybe you watch family or friends act and speak this way. "Oh, I'm so stressed. Let me tell you about it. I have something to tell you." But when we start acting like that and it starts affecting us, When you feel something awry in your body, it causes you to take a step backwards and reassess. Because somewhere in your body, you don't feel good. It just doesn't feel right. Some organ is crying out that it wants to function the way that God intended it to work. And instead, it's being weighted down with fear, with anger, or resentment. So let's break this down. Something occurs in your day. You think of what has happened, and immediately it elicits an emotion with it. It could either be happiness, it could be sadness, it could be excitement or jealousy. Your thoughts are the language of the brain, and your emotions are the language of the heart, and both are within your body. So these thoughts and emotions are part of our makeup. The problem is when we hold on to them, when we store them within, then they become detrimental. It's detrimental because where does it end? Once we get into a habit of storing negative thoughts and emotions, they just keep on piling up. A granddaughter once asked her grandfather, "What's the greatest lesson you want me to know?" He paused for a moment and then he answered, "Make mistakes and learn from them, but never, never have regret. For that regret will pile up and become very difficult for you to release later on." All right, so we get it. Something is stored within us. It's not helpful. We're not feeling good. What do? The only option, and the easiest option by far, is to release. In fact, your only option before the stress actually becomes part of your body, and it may just be like a fleeting thought at that moment, is to release. You really have to learn to let go, to release the stress. You were never in control anyway, and you know that. So allow the release to happen. How so? The same way that it came in, with a thought and an emotion. So, a thought comes into your mind, which you know doesn't serve you. Close your eyes and watch it release out of your head and dissipate into the atmosphere. Give it a picture, give it a form, either in a cloud or in a rising smoke or in a star that's rising upwards. Whatever works for you, whatever resonates. But watch it leave your body and into the atmosphere. While you think the word release or let go, words have meaning and attach a physical feeling of release when you think that word. A feeling of injustice may come over you at any moment. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You're waiting at a really long checkout line in the store and you don't have time to stand there, right? All of these injustices overcome you. Someone says something that was really inappropriate. Make the word release part of your day. Close your eyes at any given moment and take the feeling or thought that's within you that you know is negative and it's not going to serve you in a good way, and have it release. And then replace that thought, the negative thought or emotion that you just let go, replace it with a thought and emotion which is positive. Again, close your eyes and think the thought, God has my back. I'm okay. This is not my job. I cannot change him or her. I'm releasing this issue to God, and he will take care of it, like everything else. Release, release, and just let go. See how much lighter your day is, as less problems and issues are piled up on your plate, and all you're left with is more peace and light within. Sometimes you don't feel the weight of something you've been carrying until you feel the lightness after you've let go. Katrina Meyer was famous for saying, the day she let go of the things that were weighing her down was the day she began to shine her brightest. For releasing the burdens of the past allows your soul to take the next step in life without limitations. And now I want to hear from you. How has this episode helped you? What are you working on releasing, either on a daily basis or something that has been sitting within you for a while? What would you like to release that may seem too hard for you at the moment? Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I'll catch you in next week's episode. What a great episode. Thank you for being here. I truly, truly appreciate you. I'd love for you to tap 5 stars and let me know what resonated. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn under my name, Devorah Goldberg. That's where I give you more content. That's where we're able to engage even further. Until next episode, stay safe and be well.